If you believe that climate change is an existential threat, there's really no choice but to start to address these issues. My name's Greg Elmhirst. I'm the general manager of Elmhirst Resort, located on the north shore of Rice Lake, about half an hour outside of Peterborough. It's a family business. I'm the fourth generation in the business. My great-grandfather bought the land where the resort sits on Groundhog Day in 1903. We have always sort of done things with a sustainability lens. Sometimes it was an economic incentive, sometimes for reasons of being responsible stewards of the property. Led to decisions like planting indigenous plants in the shoreline to prevent erosion, investing in biomass energy. We switched all of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning in our cottages to all new, super efficient air-to-air heat pumps. It wasn't until we joined a program called Sustainable Tourism 2030, started going through their assessment process, that a lot of this stuff became formalized.
I was actually born in wartime at an Air Force base, but came back here immediately following the war. So I've been here since 1945. Elmhirst is into its fifth generation now of family. The first generation was essentially all farm. It just happened to have waterfront. So my grandfather came out of this property in 1903 and farmed, and there was a mile of waterfront, and it wasn't long before people started to ask if they could camp here, and he moved an old log house off the property down for one of the first cottages, and so the resort began in the 20s and 30s, and my father was one of 5 children, and they operated that small resort as a sideline to a busy farm.
One of the most important parts of our sustainability culture is a very local approach to food. We grow a lot of what we serve to the guests in our food service outlets, and a lot of the food that we eat at home is raised right on the property.
At Elmhirst Resort, we have an old-fashioned sensibility when it comes to our sustainable initiatives. We do the things that we do because they're practical, they keep things close to home, they keep things in the family. We care a lot less about a capital O organic on a plastic package that comes from a manufacturer, and more about doing business with the people around us and getting the most out of the earth, air, and water of our own property. We are Feast On certified as per the Snazzy Duds, and that means that at least 25% of all of our food products come from the province of Ontario, and in our case it's actually above 55% routinely. Over 30% of all of our food is grown right here on the farm, including over 90% of our beef and 100% of our duck and turkey.
All of these different sustainability initiatives have been a part of the property for several decades. We started farm to table, not because it was trendy, but because we had the farmland and we needed to use it, and it made sense to raise our own food for our own kitchen. And it's interesting how it's become so popular. It evolved naturally here. It wasn't a carrot we were chasing.
We can only be ourselves based on where we are, what we are, and who we are. A commercial operation that looks like a chic, modern bistro in downtown Toronto Neither of those things would be true to being on the north shore of Rice Lake, on beautiful farming property, with a family that's been living here for over a century and who's been renting cottages for almost a century. None of that would be true, but what we're doing now, I feel like it's really representative of who we are, what we are, and where we are.
People are becoming more and more aware of where they spend the money and what does that company do with that. Sustainability is very important here at Elmhirst, and I try to change and have an impact of what I can do from a spa perspective. It was very important to me when I brought products in that the companies are sustainable, and the products that we use, there is always sustainability and less waste, because there's other people coming after us to enjoy this beautiful planet, and it's healthier for us as we live on this planet to be mindful of the garbage that we create and have things that can be sustainable, so there is, still products to have and enjoy when the next generations come.
Our sustainability journey isn't over. We achieved a platinum rating, which means we scored more than 90% on the assessment. We see that as an important milestone, but it's not the end of the journey. We know what our carbon footprint is, and now the job is to get that to zero.
My hope for the future is that we can keep building and growing on the successes that we've already made. I think staying true to ourselves as the world changes around us is only going to be a good thing for us. I want people to come here and feel like, wow, we're really in rural Ontario. We're really on a lake. We're really eating beef that was raised right here. And to me, if the world keeps changing but we kind of stay the same, that just makes that appeal all the greater.
Well, you always hope that the family will continue on the property. Nothing is guaranteed. I mean, when you are born into the family that's been on the land and in business for generations, you have an opportunity to take it on, but you also are accepting an obligation to have it ready for the next generation. And I'm very proud of the fact that my son has continued that situation, and that my grandson is here and anxious to carry it on.
You have to be mindful that you're still just one small business in a big industry, and that there's lots more work to do to spread the word. Also, we didn't get here by ourselves. I'm really grateful to the partners that helped us get here. We achieved some significant recognition for our sustainability efforts, which we're very grateful for. And you also have to realize that until we reach a state of truly regenerative tourism, better is always possible.